All right, welcome back, everybody, to Madrid. Quarterfinal day for the ladies, and we've got some crazy matches today. We've got two that are sort of a little bit random, and then the other two are just... they're crazy. I mean, the top 10 clashes, possible, or the rematches of things that we've seen in the past. They're crazy matches, and we're going to be watching them. And there's also some men's matches going on as well, which are slightly less interesting, but they're only in the fourth round, so we're still getting up to the serious stuff. Let's get the preview, because these two ladies, Keys, Swiatek, of course, played probably match of the year at the start of the season, and have played a lot, including a couple on clay. So there's the lineup. You can see there we've got Sabalenka, Kostyuk, you've got Uchiyama, Svitolina, Andreeva, Gauff, which is coming on after this, and then Keys and Swiatek. So, yeah, crazy lineup, especially down the bottom half of the draw. That is stacked. It's going to be really interesting to see who gets out of this and makes the final, because, you know, any of these players can make the final. Keys, she got a bye in the first round. She beat Bronzetti, Kalinskaya, and Vekic. Hasn't lost a set. And Swiatek, she got a bye in the first round and played Eala, Noskova, and Schneider. And two of those three matches went 3 sets. So, much harder draw for Swiatek to get to this stage, and it doesn't get any easier. It's only going to get harder. Number 5 in the world, Madison Keys, 30 years old, from the USA. She's 5'10", right-handed, 20 wins, 4 losses on the year. She has 2 titles this year, including the Australian Open, 10 career titles, and her form hasn't been great the last few weeks, but we know how scary she is, especially when she plays. Swiatek, number 2 in the world, 23 years old, from Poland, 5'9", right-handed, 22 wins, 7 losses on the year. She has no titles this year, but she's got 22 career titles, including winning this title last year. Her form, though, hasn't been as good as you'd expect on the clay just yet. And 4-2 is the head-to-head in favour of Swiatek, but Keys won that last match, which was an epic. They played twice last year on clay, both going to Swiatek in straights. But I don't know, it just feels a little different. It feels a little different 12 months later. You know, Keys is a different player, different level of confidence. Swiatek struggling on clay for the first time in a long time, so... Let's see. Let's see if any of that makes a difference. Also, Tiafoe and Naldi's coming on as well, I think, at the same time. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. But how are we doing? What's going on? Hey, how we doing, Chris? How you doing? How are you? Good to be back. Haven't been in a while. Well, welcome back. Maureen, perfect day to come back. These are the crazy matches. These matches are the ones to come back and watch. The vibe of this matchup feels different. Even though Swiatek should win, Keys seems much more confident these days. Oh, yeah. 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 It's just feels like a different type of match this time. Just feels like Keys is, especially beating Swiatek the last match, she's got to feel good. But then it always comes down to whether or not Keys can execute, you know? Social media is full of comparisons between Purcell and Sinner suspensions. It's crazy. Yeah, that was always going to happen. Tiafoe is really a surprise on clay. Oh, yeah. If he beats Rinaldi and makes the quarterfinals, that would be awesome for Big Foe. What a run. Who would have thought? Rinaldi should win because he beat Djokovic and probably better on, more experience on clay. But yeah, Big Foe on clay this week has been crazy. It's probably the best ever chance Keys has to beat Swiatek on clay. I agree. Do you think Novak will retire at the end of the year if he won't win a slam? No, I think it depends on how he does at the slams. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll retire if he doesn't win one. I think he'll retire. He'll contemplate retiring if he loses to players he shouldn't. You know, loses second, third round to players that he used to beat. I think that's when he'll consider. But I also don't think Djokovic is going to retire just out of nowhere. I think he's going to give an announcement at the start of the year saying, this is my last year. I don't think he'd just be like, so yeah, I'm not playing anymore. I don't think he'd quit on the spot. In her match versus Vekic, Keys' forehand was on fire, yeah. Yes, it was. By the way, we've got semi-finals of the ladies tomorrow, so all the players today are going to play tomorrow as well. And then they get a day off. They don't play Friday. Watched Tennis Channel yesterday and still said about Purcell. All Tennis Channel commentators said Purcell case was handled the worst among the last ones. Yeah. And I read like, how he, there was apparently there was like WhatsApp chats that were saying that, that he was trying to like, figure out a way to get around it or whatever. And that's, and that sucks, if that's the case. But also, what he did was not performance enhancing. It was recovery. So, yeah, he was, yeah. And it was in, again, the time of year it was in, it wasn't during the season where he was trying to get, it's interesting because, if he was trying to, if he had a 5-set match at Wimbledon and then like that night went and got an IV drip and had to get his fluids back for the next day to play another match, and that was unfair, you'd be like, yeah, that sucks. But for somebody who did a recovery in the off season, I think it was in Bali or somewhere in Indonesia, so he was obviously training in that kind of weather to get ready for the season. And it was a recovery method when he had no matches around, and it wasn't for performance enhancing reasons. It just seems like 18 months. Like that's, yeah. It's, yeah. It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. And it just makes no, like, it's frustrating because then it brings up the argument for everybody again, right? We just thought we'd got over it with Sinner getting banned. We're like, okay, well, we've got to put that to bed. And then this comes up and we're like, everyone's confused again. We're all wondering, well, what's yeah. Just when we thought we kind of understood how things worked, and how this sort of system worked, all of a sudden it's like, well, something like this happens, and it just everyone starts asking questions again, and what's going on. So it's pretty. It's just that's probably the most frustrating part, is that it's just everyone's confused again. We're all confused. What are the rules? What are the, what punishments? It seems just so random. Again, that punishments are given out to. There's no rhyme or reason. Just things get, it's just weird. Who won the toss and elected to serve? I think Keys won the toss and elected to receive. So we'll see what happens. Men's semis are on Friday. So tomorrow we've got quarterfinals of the men. Wait a second. Tomorrow, Thursday. Yeah, so tomorrow we've got men's quarterfinals and women's semifinals. And then on Friday, it's men's semis and then women's final, men's final on the weekend. So yeah, so tomorrow's going to be crazy, and then after that, it's pretty relaxed. It's pretty chill. So yeah, all the quarterfinals of the men are tomorrow. And at the moment, we've only got a couple of locked in. We've got Cerundolo versus Mensik. We've got Ruud versus Medvedev. That'll be tomorrow. And then the bottom half of the draw will be figured out today, and then they'll all play tomorrow. Swiatek is up for it. She's been challenged left and right and center, and she stayed the course. She'll get this done. This will be a huge win if she can get it done, especially if she gets it done in straights. Hey, thank you, Chris, for the 26 months. Appreciate it. Thank you for the 26 months. All right. Who you got winning this one, chat? Who you got? Hey, thank you, London Lady, for the 30 months. I've got Swiatek in. I'm going to go 3 because she has had a lot of 3-setters this week. I think she'll just... I think she'll be able to get enough shots back off Keys that Keys will make a few errors. I think Swiatek's defense will beat Keys on clay. I'm sticking with your updates, Cam. I've had some random posts giving me bogus info on matches. What do you mean? All right, Swiatek to serve. Is it a fault second serve? Once again, it proves that the rules are different for top players in the WTA and ATP. Yeah, see, like this is probably the worst. Like, it sucks for Purcell, but it's also like this is why it. I think for tennis again, it just sucks because now it's like, well, yeah, I don't know. It's just gonna, like, people are gonna question everything, and everything's like, all the conspiracy heads are gonna come back, and it's just gonna be, it's just gonna be really tiring. We're just gonna ignore it. It's why I don't want to talk about it, because it doesn't make sense, and I'm not going to try and make sense of it because it just doesn't make sense. And I don't want to, like, fuel the fire of people coming in and saying Sinner should have been banned for 2 years. Like, I don't want that shit, especially because he's come back next week, and we want to enjoy him coming back, not question why he came back so soon. I don't want to do that shit. We did enough of that for months, right? And it was love 15. And Swiatek serves again. Into the backhand of Keys. Backhand of Swiatek. Into the forehand of Keys. Again to the back of Swiatek. And Swiatek gets it out. Love 30. All right. Problem for Swiatek already. Swiatek needs to avoid Keys' forehand. I agree. Because that shot is deadly. I love 30. Is it a serve in the backhand of Keys? Swiatek backhand winner down the line. And it's 15-30. 15-30. Swiatek serves again. That's a fault. Second serve. Second serve. As the return goes into the forehand of Keys. Slash Swiatek is long. 15-40. Swiatek already under pressure. Draper Paul should be good. I hope so. I don't know who's going to win that one either. Both have been very impressive this week on the clay. 15-40. Serve to the back end of Keys. Return goes to the back end of Swiatek. Keys with a pass. Swiatek with a half volley is good. Keys gets there but puts it in the net. 30-40. 30-40. Breaker right away. That seems to be what's on the cards. I think Demon can win the rematch against Musetti. Maybe. All right, 30-40. Still break point for Keys. Swiatek serves. Fault. Second serve. Second serve. To the forehand of Keys. Great return. Swiatek slice. Goes out. Keys breaks. First game. All right. Keys breaks to start the match. All right. One love. Draper done well on the clay this year. I mean, yeah, he's having a better season than usual on clay. All right, Keys this year has been 5 wins, 1 loss against top 10 players. That's crazy. The only loss was that Sabalenka, that shocking Sabalenka match where she lost like 11-1 or 11-2 or something, right? All right, Keys breaks to start this match. Now, last year, she only won 4 games, Keys, on this court against Swiatek. So let's see if she can do better. All right, nice serve from Keys. 15 love. 15 love. As we return Swiatek to the back in the Keys. Swiatek forehand again to the slice of Keys. Into the forehand of Swiatek, who overhits it. 30 love. Swiatek slow start, yeah. Yeah, that has been a trend over her career. Swiatek back in there, 40 love. Love. As Keys serves an ace. All right, 2 love. Keys off to a great start. Uchiyama win this title? No. Sorry. No, there's too many good players still in the draw. I mean, Svitolina would have, Svitolina, Keys, Swiatek, Sabalenka, Gauff, Andreeva. Uchiyama is the only unseeded player left in the draw, and I don't see her beating Sabalenka and then one of the bottom half of the draw ladies in the same draw. It's very unlikely. Uchiyama will win, I have a feeling. Nah, there's not enough. It's not that random. Like, WTA is not that random anymore. Backhand return goes in the forehand of Swiatek. Forehand now from Keys. Again to the forehand of Swiatek. Keys with the forehand of the stretch. Goes long, and it's 15 love. Uchiyama make the semis. Nah, Svitolina's in good form. Svitolina has not lost a set so far this week. She's won 20 sets in a row and won a title last week. Uchiyama would be good to push her to 3, but I don't think Uchiyama is going to beat Svitolina. So now the forehand of Keys. Forehand now from Swiatek. Keys forehand inside out winner. 15-0. Keys forehand is working. I know Uchiyama's beaten Pegula, Jabeur, and Alexandrova, but she's got to beat Svitolina, Sabalenka, and Swiatek potentially, or Svitolina, Sabalenka, and Andreeva. I mean, she's had a great run though, Uchiyama. I don't think we should be, we shouldn't dismiss that, but it's also like to win the title. I mean, it's not that random. There's not enough random players left in the draw for her to. I feel like if it was more unseeded players, you'd maybe give her a chance, but there's no. She's the only unseeded player, so it's very, very unlikely. She won this tournament; it would be one of the greatest runs of all time. 15-30. Swiatek serves again. To the back into Keys, back into Swiatek. To the slice of Keys. As Swiatek forehand goes long, and it's 15-40. Swiatek struggling. $15-40. To get the double break. $15-40. There's a bit of fault from Keys. Second serve. My prediction is that Swiatek won't win on any clay court tournaments due to the stress of defending points. Okay. Serve. Is a double fault. Oh, wow. All right. Keys has the 3-love double break lead. Start this match. I'm so glad Keys making a resurgence this year. Yeah, it's been really good. She's having a career best year, which is great.
Unrelated, there are no grass 1000. Roger was the best grass player of the three. Does that matter?
Thank you for the donation. What do you mean? Why does it? What do you? Does what matter? I don't know what you mean. Thank you, Sam, for the donation. What do you mean? What does what matter? Didn't know Keys like that on clay. Yeah, she made this. She lost to Swiatek both Rome and Madrid last year in the quarters and semis. So, yeah. Cam, yesterday you spoke about Swiatek's record of winning 6-love the first set. Now tell us about her matches how many matches where she won after a love 6 loss. Well, we haven't had that happen, so I'm not going to talk about it if it happens. When asked who is the best regarding 1,000 tournaments, it's obviously Djokovic. But with no grass 1,000, I mean, it doesn't matter because that doesn't like. I mean, if there was a grass 1,000, then Djokovic and Nadal would have played more before Wimbledon. But, and who would have known if Federer would have won as many Halo titles as he did if that was a 1,000 event and there was more people that were playing and there was crazier, I don't know. I don't understand. Anyway, it's 15 love. As it goes out by Swiatek, 30 love. Nole best player ever, but Federer was the greatest. Okay. Ah, 30 love. As we return now to the front of Keys. Keys hits it out. 30-15. Is Raonic coming back before Wimbledon? I don't think so. Isn't he retired? Or was semi-retired? First serve is a fault, second serve. Can Sabalenka beat Serena's record? Probably not. As we're back and return the back end of Keys. Keys is a wide 30-0. Very strong chance for Demon or Rude to win their first 1,000 this week. Yeah. Or Musetti. Musetti should be also in that conversation. 30-0. As we're falling out down the line to the backhand slice of Swiatek. And then Keys with the forehand winner. 40-30. Cam, among the big three, who's your favorite? Well, it's got to be Alcaraz. I respect Sinner. And I like Runa. I like watching Runa, but I gotta say, Alcaraz is just perfect. It's great to watch. He's so much fun to watch. I hope he stays healthy so we can watch more of him. All right, 40-30. But I like Sinner as well, and Runa's fun to watch too. But it's definitely Alcaraz is when he's on, it's crazy. It's so much fun to watch. Anyway, it's 4-love. In 15 minutes. This is crazy. By the way, Tiafoe and Aldi is just getting started, so we'll keep an eye on them. Alcaraz play next week? I hope so. I think this tournament's definitely missed Alcaraz this week. With no Sinner and then also with Djokovic losing early. We need Alcaraz next week. Rome will be not as interesting if Alcaraz isn't there. For love. As the backhand return from Keys goes to the Swiatek. Swiatek gets it wide. And it's love 15. Love 15. When's the last time Swiatek was bageled? I think it was like 2021. I think 2021 when she lost to Kazatkina on a grass court. Dasha bageled her. She was the last player to do it. I think it was 2021. I think. Love 15. Serving to the forehand of Keys. Backhand of Swiatek. Into the slice of Keys. Swiatek. Backhand again. The backhand of Keys. Good passing shot, but Swiatek volleys it away. And it's 15-0. All right, 15-0. Swiatek hits an ace. 30-15. $30-15. As with a fault second serve. As the return goes in the front of Swiatek. But Swiatek gets it long. 30-all. 30-all. As we just served on the backhand of Keys. Forehand Swiatek goes long. 30-40. This is getting crazy. All right. $30-40 Keys to get to 5 love. Swiatek serves. A fault. A second serve. Second serve. As the backhand return goes into the backhand of Swiatek. Keys with the forehand of the stretch. Swiatek forehand inside out. Keys slices it back. Swiatek comes in. Oh, hits it out! What the hell are we watching now? This is, okay, now it's getting, okay. This is getting ridiculous. Swiatek's down 5 love in like 20 minutes, and Keys is going to serve her a bagel. Now, I know what you're asking me. So Swiatek, the last time she was bageled, Eastbourne 2021, Kazatkina won the second set 6 love. She has been bageled on clay before. This isn't the first time. She got bageled against Halep at Roland Garros 2019. So that was the last time on a clay court she was bageled. And she has been bageled before. She's been bageled by Muguruza, Stosur, Ostapenko's bageled her. Halep, as I mentioned, Georgie got a bagel against her in Australia a couple years ago, like 6 years ago. Kazatkina, as I mentioned. So She has been bageled on clay 4 times, so it wouldn't be the first time. She has been bageled 4 times. And the last one being 2019 Roland Garros against the number 3 in the world at the time, Simona Halep. And she was 100 in the world, Swiatek, at the time. So it wouldn't be the first time. But it would be the first time since being Iga Swiatek, the queen of clay. Yeah. So she hasn't been bageled in 4 years. And on clay, she hasn't been bageled in 6 years. And Keys is about to do that. 5 love. As the return goes out by Swiatek, 15 love. $15 love. As Keys serves again. A fault. Second serve. As the return for Swiatek goes long. 30 love. $30 love. Swiatek getting a new racket. 30 love. As Keys serves again. Into the forehand, Swiatek. Return goes into the forehand of Keys. And Swiatek gets a backhand. Into the backhand of Keys. Into the forehand of Swiatek. That's a good shot. All right, 30-15. Swiatek hits a lovely inside-out winner. 30-15. All right, 30-15. Okay, serves again. By the way, if you are joining us, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We are watching the next Gauff versus Andreeva is coming up after this. By the way, Analdi and Tiafo are 3-2 in the first set on serve. Double fault Keys. No, 30 all. 30 all. As we return from Swiatek. In comes Keys. Puts it away. 40-30. 40-30. A chance for the bagel. $40-30. Keys serves. Into the back, and Swiatek return is off the tape and wide. And that is the first bagel that Swiatek has had to eat in over 3.5 years. And the first on clay in 6. 24 minutes and Keys bagel Swiatek, which doesn't happen. It does not happen. Wow. Swiatek's on the bathroom. Wow. Wow. I need to see the stats here because I want to see if that was Swiatek's errors or Keys' power. I mean, I want to know. Probably a bit of both, but it did feel like Swiatek was making a lot of errors. It didn't feel like Keys was she was hitting clean, but it didn't feel like she was dominating on the ground. So it was more Swiatek making the errors. Keys. Oh, actually, no. Keys was really solid. 5 winners, 2 errors. So she was just not giving away any free points. But Swiatek 4 winners and 10 errors. Keys only lost, I think, 2 points on her first serve as well when it went in. Swiatek's serve is in big trouble. It's been in trouble. So yeah, that was... Keys just played clean. And Swiatek made all the mistakes. Damn. All right. Now, we have seen this before. Not with Swiatek, but in general, where players do win a first set 6-love and then things can flip on its head in the second. So let's not count Swiatek out just yet. Because remember the semifinals of the US Open a couple of years ago, Keys bageled Sabalenka and she came back to win. So we'll see how long Keys can stay errorless. Is that a word? And we'll see if Swiatek can fix it up. But damn. The first bagel since 2019 Roland Garros on a clay court for Swiatek. And the first bagel in 4 years. Crazy. Cam, fix your face. It's only one game. Stop making excuses. She was outplayed. Live with it. Can you go away? You're really annoying. Like, you're annoying. Like, can you fix your typing? Like, I'm just reading that stats, brother, and you're coming at me like this? You need to relax, buddy. Has Swiatek won a match when she's been bageled? Great question. That's a great question. I'll tell you in a second. I think she has twice. Twice she's come back from being bageled and won the match. Cam doesn't like criticism. It's not even criticism. That guy was just coming out being straight up rude. So Swiatek lost the first set against a player in 2018. Came back from 6-love down first set, won the match. And also against Puig back in the French Open 2019. Lost the first set 6-love, came back to win. So she's done it twice. Where she's lost the first set 6-love, came back to win. And both of those were on clay. But both of those were not against number 5 in the world and current Australian Open champion. So that's the difference. Schneider pushed Swiatek. Swiatek is not winning this. Okay. Keys is not lost after winning the first set this season. Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second, because that's also a stat. So Swiatek this year, when she's lost the first set, has come back to win 3 times. Only 3 out of 9. And one of those was this week against Eala, so that's a good sign. Swiatek coming back in the bathroom. I just want a 3-setter. Well, look, anything can happen. And Keys this year, when she has won the first set, is 18 wins, 0 losses. And she's gone to 3 sets a couple of times. So it's not like Keys is, dominated after winning the first set. 1, 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times out of the 18, she has gone to the third. Last time she went to 3 was Indian Wells against Mertens. Also in Australia, she went 3 sets after winning the first set twice. Sorry, 3 times. So, and 1 time in Adelaide in the final where she beat Pegula. So, yeah. So, Swiatek can come back, but she's going to have to limit the errors. It'll be disappointing if Keys does not make it a double bagel. All right, Swiatek serves. Really? Don't be disappointed. I mean, that would be it's very unlikely there's going to be a double bagel, but I mean, if she wins like 6-2 second set, I mean, that wouldn't be that bad, would it? All right. Swiatek serving first in the second, 30 minutes played. By the way, Chet, everyone firing the coach. Can we wait until the end of the match? This happens with every player. Alcaraz loses the first set. Get rid of Juan Carlos. Swiatek loses the first set. Get rid of Wim. Every time someone loses the first set, it's like the coach gets fired. Remember, it's best of 3. They got to win 2 sets. It's not over. It's not over yet. 15-love. 15 love. Agree, Swiatek needs to fire him now. What, like mid-match? Just turn around and be like, you're fired, don't come back tomorrow. Before the match is over? I feel like that's a little extreme. 15 love. As a return now from Keys goes into the back of Swiatek. Keys on the stretch with a slice. And Swiatek backhand deadline winner, 30 love. 30 love. Swiatek's overrated. She needs to retire after this. You need to retire from typing. Your message is overrated. 30 love. Like, you got to think before you type. Because that was just stupid. As that goes wide by Keys, 40 love. You know what I mean? Like, you should have just, before you press send, you should have just waited and read that. I know you're just kidding, but I'm also just kidding. It wasn't very funny what you said. You got to write lol or just kidding after the comments, and then I won't read it. 40 love. I'm just kidding, bro. Okay. Serve. Into the forehand of Keys. Swiatek forehand in the net, 40-15. $40-15. How can people still think Swiatek won her 5 slams by accident? Yeah. Weak era. It was the weak era. Serena retired and Swiatek was allowed to win. Like, come on now. Let's not go down that path. It's totally untrue. Swiatek is great. Still one of the greatest clay court players of this current era. And she hasn't even lost this match. She wins the game 1 love. Like, some of you are talking like that, players don't come back from 6 love down in the WTA. It happens all the time. Players lose 6 love and then return with a 6-1. So, what are we doing? Remember what we're watching, chat. Remember what we're watching. You jump in too quick. Well, I'm reading your chats. So you got to be quicker. You got to be quicker with your just kidding. That's pretty true. Weak era. God, weak comment. That was a weak comment. Swiatek is successful because she doesn't change clothes. That doesn't make any sense. No, she's been bageled before, but it hasn't been for a long time. This might go 3. Yeah, I don't doubt that. All right. Nice serving from Keys, 15 love. Keys is playing very... Again, I wouldn't say Keys is playing at a... She's not like, smashing the ball through Swiatek all over the court. There's definitely... She's just not hitting errors. Until now, 15-0. So, there's a difference, right? Chat, do we all understand the difference between somebody who's dominating by just like Penko, right? When she catches fire and just starts hitting winners from everywhere, right? And then someone who... Penko might hit 20 winners in a set, but she also hit 15 errors. Keys hit 5 winners in the first set, but only 2 errors. So, that's different to if Keys had hit 28 winners and 2 errors, right? There's a big difference. So, it's not... Keys is definitely not giving Swiatek any... putting pressure on Swiatek in the way of not giving her any free points. And forcing Swiatek to have to do stuff. Forcing Swiatek to hit winners. Forcing Swiatek to make the play. Which is good by Keys. That's smart. Whereas Keys, 12 months ago, would have tried to just, bash the ball. That's why how Keys got so much better. Because I remember, it was always, with Keys, it was always if she's not hitting well on the forehand or she's not hitting good serves, she can't win because she didn't have a plan B. But now, end of last year, start of this year, she doesn't try and just hit her way through matches. She plays a lot more, a lot smarter. And obviously when she's hitting the ball hard and she smacks it through people, that's crazy. But she doesn't have to do that. She can win in other ways. And she's doing that today. She's just playing smart. And Swiatek's the one who's thinking, oh shit, I better hit winners because, what if she starts hitting winners? Oh no. All right, Keys holds. And it's 1-1. Keys changed her mindset. Yeah, she definitely plays a lot more calculated these days, which is awesome. It's the way it's how she won the Australian Open. She wouldn't win the Australian Open by just hoping that on the day she plays is the forehand works, because if the forehand doesn't work, her game she won't win, right? And she doesn't need the forehand to work every day. Why do you have a photo of Kasatkina on your wall? Why not? 1-1. As we serve now from Swiatek. The backhand of Keys. Forehand Swiatek into the slice of Keys on the stretch. That goes long. And a nice shot by Swiatek. 15-love. 15-love. Jams.
I took over 21 total games. Good morning, Camera.
What's going on? As we return from Keys, but it's in the ground. 30-love. Love. And Swiatek serves again. Into the backhand of Keys. Return goes to forehand Swiatek. Keys on the stretch. Into the backhand of Swiatek. And it hits the line. 40-love. 40-love. Keys has the confidence to go for her shots. Yeah. But Keys has just brought a little bit of defense into her game, which is she doesn't try to hit the ball 100 miles an hour every time. She's playing a lot more calculated. 40-love Swiatek. It's a fault, second serve. Oh, it's a double fault, my bad. Double fault. By the way, Analdi 5-3. First set against Tiafoe. (40-15). As the return goes in the forehand, Swiatek. Forehand now from Keys. Down the line's a winner, 40-30. 40-30. 40-30 as Swiatek tries to take the lead again. As the return goes in, the backhand slice of Swiatek. Slice from Keys. Swiatek with a forehand again. Down the line. At the backhand of Keys. Sliced again. Swiatek forehand again down the line. Keys with another slice. Swiatek. Backhand winner, and it's 2-1 Swiatek. Two to one. Two to one. All right. Swiatek is only 23. Yeah. She is 23. Turns 24 this year, though. Keys better not fumble this. We'll find out. I think if Keys lost this match, I don't think it would be a fumble unless she started playing terrible. I think if Swiatek came back to win by playing well, I don't think we can call it a fumble if Swiatek gets better. After a bagel, that'd be a fumble for real. What, if Swiatek plays better and comes back? Cam, what was your prediction in this match? I said Swiatek in 3. So it's going exactly to plan. So I'm excited. It's exactly what I said yesterday with the Swiatek in 3, and you all laughed. After the first set bagel, like, 3 sets, you're kidding yourself. But chat, you celebrated too early. As that goes out by Keys, love 15. So Keys winning the first set was exactly what I expected. Well, chat. I knew. I told you. At the start, it says Swiatek a 3. Love 15. That's Keys with the serve to the forehand. Swiatek return goes into the forehand. Keys. Keys in the net. Love 30. All right, Keys made a couple of errors. Love 30. Love 30. As a default second serve. Second serve, Keys. Into the forehand. Swiatek, that's a return winner. Okay.
Unbelievable.
Love 40. Swiatek with her break points for the first time today. Love 40 to take her first break of the match. Serve to the back end of Swiatek. Back end from Keys. Into the slice of Swiatek. Keys back in again. In the net. There's the break. 3-1. See, I wouldn't mind Swiatek mixing it up with some slice. You know, make Keys try and hit the hard shots. You know, because Swiatek has been giving Keys a lot more free points. Keys hasn't really had to try and hit winners or generate any power. So I wouldn't mind Swiatek just slowing it down a bit and try and make Keys hit the ball hard instead of giving her the free points. You know, I think that would be a smart idea. That slice was perfect. That slice cross court, and then Keys tried to hit it and missed it. 3-1. Who's your favorite to win the tournament? Sabalenka. 3-1. There's a default second serve. I think Sabalenka's draw to start with has been so good, but then now it's starting to pick up. If she plays Federlina in the semis tomorrow, I think that's a good warm-up for whoever she plays in the final. But I think Sabalenka is the can't do clay. Are you serious? Sabalenka can't do clay. Okay, yeah. Just Google it. Sabalenka can't do clay. Is that a true statement, or is that? Come on now. 15 love. Sabalenka can do anything. Are you serious? Sabalenka is an all-court player. She can win on all surfaces. She is her. All right. 15 love. You agree with that guy that Sabalenka can't do clay? Bro, don't make me school you. Sort of forehand. Come on. Forehand down the line at the back of the Keys. Keys in the net. 30 love. You got to do some research on Sabalenka on clay before you start making statements that she's not good on clay. 1 point away from a French Open final 2 years ago. 1 point away from winning this title last year against the Queen of Clay. Made the final of Rome last year. Made the final of Stuttgart multiple times in a row on clay, only losing to the best players besides this year when she lost to Penko. She's also won Madrid a couple of times. I mean, come on. Is that not good enough? All right, 30-15. Like, come on. Stuttgart's different. Okay, what about Roland Garros? Is that different? Also, picking Sabalenka to win this title, and if you say Madrid's different, well, we're in Madrid. So the question was, who's going to win? I said Sabalenka. You said she can't play on clay. This is a clay court. She's won this twice. I don't know what you want from me. 30-15. The question wasn't, can she win Roland Garros? 30-15, second serve. There's a return now from Keys. Goes long, 40-15. Chad, are we hiring the coach back yet? Or are we going to... Is he still fired? Do we have to call him up and say sorry? When do we ask Wim to come back? 40-15. Swiatek serves. An ace. All right, 4-1. 4-1. Swiatek leads in the second. All right. All right. How we doing, chat? Still fired. We want Goran. Goran's working with Steph, so that ain't happening. I'm a Tauros and Iga got this now. That made no sense. What do you mean? So because you're a Tauros, she's going to win? I don't get that. How does that work? I don't know star signs. What's up? How does that work? If a Tauros says you're going to win, it's true? Is that what it is? I don't know how it works. How does the magic work? What happened? I don't get it. Swiatek mind is so crazy, gives up at first set, plays her best second. Well, what was she going to do? Like just fold? So fighting back is... I'm glad that she's fighting back. What's the difference between Swiatek 23 and Swiatek 25? Everyone's gotten better. I mean, it's to keep it simple, everybody else has gotten better. Right? It was going to happen, 4-1. As Keys hits it long, and it's 15 love. Oh, sorry, love 15. Swiatek's gotten worse? Well, okay, no, we're going to do this properly. I'm not going to take that shit. Everyone else has gotten better. 2023, Gauff hasn't got a slam. Pegula hasn't made a final of a slam. Andreeva isn't even around, really. She was a name, but she wasn't around. Keys was kind of hovering around the top 20. Sabalenka only had a slam, right? Who else is in the top 10 that I've got to talk about? Zhang was up and coming. Raducanu was more of a factor, but she's kind of dropped down. Navarro was unheard of by then. Paolini was unheard of, right? Mukova was having a pretty good season. Krejcikova was on and off. Who else was around? Schneider was unheard of. Badosa was there around... she might have been down on that time. And Swiatek was well and truly on top of the world. Now, Sabalenka's got a bunch of slams. Pegula's made a final of a slam. Gauff's got a grand slam plus a bunch of wins over Swiatek, which she didn't have in 23. Keys has got a slam and wins over Swiatek, or at least a win. Andreeva's a threat. Zhang's beat Swiatek last year on clay, which was huge. Navarro's become a thing. So, everybody's gotten better around Swiatek. Also, you want me to go one further? Let's talk about who was in the top 10 at this time in 2023. Because I'm sure the top 10 looked a hell of a lot different than it does now. Swiatek, Sabalenka, Pegula, okay, normal. Jabeur was here. She's not here no more at the moment. Garcia was here, but she's not there. Gauff was number 6. Raducanu is 7. Dasher was 8. Sakari and Kvitova. And Sakari and Kvitova have dropped. So the top 10 looks totally different than it did 2 years ago as well. Right? 30 all, by the way, as Keys tries to keep it within one break. Forehand cross court goes long, though, 30-40. So, yeah, everyone else has gotten better. Which has forced Swiatek to now hire a different coach, try and change her game to compete with all these new players. And that's what we're watching here. We're watching Swiatek try to figure out how to play more aggressive, serve bigger, things that she thought and maybe the coach thinks are vulnerabilities, right? And we're just watching Swiatek try and change her game from, a precise baseliner with an okay serve to someone who has a bit more of a bigger serve and is going to hit more errors because she's trying to go for more shots. WTA is more competitive now as well. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's also got to be a thing, right? We get to deuce. And also, like, back in 2023, Swiatek was she intimidated everyone except for, like, 2 or 3 players. Now, there's a lot more players that feel like they could beat Swiatek, right? They think, oh, wow, she's not invincible. So she's lost a little bit of that aura of invincibility that she had 2 years ago where, like, on clay, he was not even going to get a game. Whereas now, I think with, like, Penko has obviously shown a little bit. Other players have kind of got sets off Swiatek. People maybe think, hey, well, if that person can get a set, maybe I can. So the belief of everybody else against Swiatek's also risen. Anyway, Swiatek, a chance to get the double break. Serving to the back of Swiatek, return goes into the form of Keys, who hits it in the net. There's the 5-1 lead. Swiatek serving for the set. All right. 5-1. 5-1. All right, Swiatek to take us to a third. She serves an ace. 15 love. Will you be streaming any men's matches today? Probably not. Maybe later, but I'm not sure. Because, to be honest, the ladies' matches are... Well, especially the first 2 matches for the ladies are way, way more important. But we might stream later, the men's later. It feels like it's a forehand wide. 15-all. Why do you like WTA over ATP? Because WTA, we get a lot more top 10 matches because they're more consistent. $15. As we just serve into the back end of Keys. Keys hits it out, 30-15. And it's not that I like one over the other. It's just that the WTA provide way more better matches. Like this year, WTA's had way more top 10 clashes, way more interesting matchups, right? On the ATP, there's been a lot more upsets, but then upsets mean that at this time of the tournament, we don't get good matches as good of a match as this, right? We don't get top 10 clashes because the top 10 lose. So, again, it's not a matter of... It's not because it's not that I like WTA more than ATP. It's just have better matchups. 30-all. Swiatek trying to finish this second set. Who are the upcoming players on the WTA? They're all here. Andreeva. Eala is definitely up and coming player. I think a few players were thinking of coming back, like Mukova, Krejcikova, right? It's not so much up and coming. It's more just like comeback players. Who else is an up-and-coming player on the WTA chat? Let me know. Who else is there? I know Eala is definitely the big one. Andreeva's already here. Yeah, Osaka coming back, 30-all. As we get a return now from Keys in the form of Swiatek. Swiatek in the net, though, 30-40. 30-40, Schneider, yeah. Kruger, Kessler, yeah, they've been pretty good this year at times. All right, 30-40, break back point to get one of these breaks back. As we get a serve out wide, the back of the Keys. Return goes in the forehand to Swiatek, who puts it away. And we get to deuce. All right, serve again. As we just serve in the net from Swiatek, second serve. Second serve. Into the forehand of Keys. Return goes to forehand Swiatek, who hits it wide. Advantage Keys. How's the match? You seem a little unentertained. What? What do you mean? All right, advantage Keys. I'm just waiting for the third set at this point. As with a serve. Into the back end of Keys. Back end of Swiatek. Into the forehand of Keys. To the forehand of Swiatek as Keys. Forehand again to the forehand of Swiatek. But she hits it out. Keys gets a break back. 5-2. You seem much less energized than before. Than what? This, like before, like yesterday or this morning? Yeah, I don't know what you. Maybe you just tuned in. Maybe you haven't been here. All right. 5-2. You play tennis day. Madison must not fall for the Eala trap. You keep saying that. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Swiatek should use drop shots. Keys is not the best mover. Yeah, maybe. Was the power back in Spain? Apparently, yeah. It's back on. Everything's good. You were more animated when Nadal used to play? Okay. Fair enough. I think you missed the super chat. Did I? No, I didn't. There's nothing came through. There's been no super chat. Unless it was a super sticker. No super chats have come through. Bro's probably just tired. Chill. No, I'm good. It's just that I'm not going to scream and shout and lose my voice when the score is 5-2. There's plenty of time for that. Keys has won every single match this year when she won the first set. Yeah, she has. All right. Swiatek. She's got a 5-2 lead in love 15. Who wins this one? Swiatek in 3. $2 left my bank account. £2. Yeah, no, nothing came through, so I don't know what happened. Yeah, no super chats. 1 hour played, by the way. It's pretty crazy. So quick, this match. Only 1 hour played. 15-0. Just ask your prediction in the Dimitrov match later, please. I got Dimmy. Yeah, I think Dimmy wins. 15-0. Prediction for Draper Paul. I'm going to go Paul in 3. I think it's going to be close. 30-15. Why is Swiatek's game the most discussed one now? Why? She's not even number 1 anymore. So wait, we should only talk about the number 1 and nobody else? What do you mean? If that was the case, I wouldn't have to stream as much. I'd only be watching Sabalenka for 3 months straight. That'd be so easy. As that backhand goes wide by Swiatek, 40-15. I wouldn't have to watch. I mean, I couldn't watch Sinner, so if we only watched the world number 1 on the channel, then could have had 3 months off. Could have gone away. 40-15. And the return goes in the backhand of Keys. Keys is the winner. All right. Swiatek's going to serve again for this set. 5-3. 5-3. Do you think Leighton Hewitt is going to be sorting Dasha now that she's an Aussie? Hell yeah, of course. Definitely. Do you think that Roger could beat a player ranked in the top 100 now? No, because his knee doesn't work. He can't move properly. All right, Swiatek serves for the set again. As the backhand return goes into the backhand Swiatek, backhander from Keys. And to the backhand Swiatek is Keys with a forehand. Winner. And it's love 15. Love 15. Swiatek's got to be real careful now. This is getting a little out of hand. And she has lost leads before in this season. So remember against Eala, she was up like 4. Was she up 4-2 or 5-2 in the second set? And Swiatek gets with the backhand into the forehand of Keys. Keys off the tape, but it's in the net. 15-all. Swiatek serves again. There's a bit of forehand down the line of the backhand of Keys. Swiatek forehand inside out. Keys gets over the backhand into the forehand of Swiatek, who hits it cross court. Keys with a slice forehand. Goes long, 30-15. Serve again. Points away from the set. And the return goes in the backhand of Swiatek. Backhand from Keys down the line in the net. 40-15. Swiatek to take the second. (40-15). Serve. Into the backhand of Keys. Forehand of Swiatek to the forehand of Keys. Into the forehand of Swiatek, who hits it out. 40-30. Set point number 2. Swiatek serves again. A fault. Second serve. How can you not like Swiatek? I don't know. People find a way. I think it's strange. But you can't like everybody. And not everybody can like you. So as the return goes out by Keys, we're going 3. All right, Swiatek recovers. 6-3 in the second. And Keys is going to serve first in the third. Good recovery. Good recovery by the defending champ. Okay. 6-3. What happened to Swiatek? She lost the first set because she was hitting too many errors. Keys, by the way, dropped her level massively. 9 winners, 15 errors. Remember, she only hit 2 errors in the first set. Swiatek cleaned it up a little bit. 7 winners, 11 errors. Still a little bit high on the error count, but Keys, her level definitely dropped. Her errors, and also her winners rose, but her errors rose dramatically. So Keys is going to have to lock it down again if she's going to get this win. All right. Final set. Here we go. Let's see if Swiatek can come back and be the first player in 2025 to beat Keys after losing the first set. Keys and Swiatek doing the job. Minus, wait, what? 3K in the house. Yeah, thank you everybody for joining. Don't forget to subscribe. We got Andreeva Gauff after this. Carlos is back on training, back on court training today. Both thighs are taped though. Oh God, Rome's gonna be tough. Yeah, he said it. So last week, so the Alcaraz, I guess, well, it's not really an update because it happened last week. So Alcaraz, he pulled out of Madrid because he has an injured leg or hip, sort of like one of the muscles in his like hip area, and then he also has apparently a hamstring strain on his left leg. So the left leg's hamstring sore, and the right leg is hip area related, hip groin kind of like area. So that's why he would have both legs taped. One was hamstring, one was the serious injury that he got, right? So the hamstring was like an extra, like a like a secondary injury. But so yeah, that's why he probably has both legs taped to keep it all together. As that goes out by Swiatek, and it's 30 love. Who's winning the final set? Chat, give me some predictions. As we just serve again from Keys. Carlos may do a Barty and retire early. Why would he do that? As Keys hits a winner, 40 love. Barty retired because she didn't like... well, again, this is why I'm not going to... She probably has already said this, but being Australian, having traveled the world all the time is very, very hard. And also she wanted to have kids, you know? She wanted to have a family and not wait until she finished her career. She wanted to have a family in her mid-20s and move on. And she ticked a lot of boxes. She, won Wimbledon. She won the Australian Open. She won the French Open. She was world number one. She did everything that she wanted to do in tennis. So I don't think Alcaraz will retire like Barty because I don't think he has the same reasons. Like being a tennis player in Europe is a lot easier than it would be for an Australian who's out of the country for 9 months of the year, and and it's not easy to get home. Whereas in Spain, I mean, he can go home, he can take a month off and goes back home to Spain, right? So I don't think Carlos. The only thing is Carlos, if he gets disinterested because the pressures of him trying to be Rafa, people are like, put the expectation of him being, being Rafa or whatever people say, or whatever people think what he should be doing, if that gets too much and he's like, it's not fun for him anymore. But I don't think he's going to do a Barty and retire because she retired for a totally different reason. She didn't retire because it's not fun. She retired because she wanted other things. And she couldn't travel the world for 9 months a year and raise 2 kids and also live in Australia. And she had to she wanted to choose. And it sucks for all of us, but I just wish that Barty didn't give Swiatek world number one. I mean, that's crazy. Why would you? That's a crazy statement. Like, look at Swiatek. Swiatek was number one, and also like number one for like she was like clearly number one. Like, I don't know where like gifted. I mean, yeah, she stepped down as number one, and Swiatek got it. But when Swiatek was number one, it wasn't like she was hanging on to number one every week. She was number one by a mile. So who's to say that she wouldn't have got number one that year anyway? You know, Barty defended Wimbledon, had to defend Wimbledon that year. Swiatek won the US Open at the end of the year. If she kept doing that, she probably would have taken the number one ranking anyway. You know, if Barty had stuck around. You know, Barty had to defend Miami that year, right? So yeah, if Barty didn't retire, Swiatek probably still would have gotten to number one. Barty retiring didn't make Swiatek better. Swiatek was already going to be that good. We just got robbed of some Barty Swiatek epic 2022 matches that we could have had. Like, it would have been a great battle for number one. It just wasn't meant to be. 15-all. And Swiatek serves a fault. Second serve. All right, 30-15. By the way, looking at the rankings back in 2021 or 2022 just for context. So Barty was ahead of Swiatek by this is after Indian Wells, was up by 2,200 points, which is a lot. But remember, Barty had 2 Grand Slams to her name. Swiatek had 0 in 2022 before the French. Because remember, Swiatek lost the French Open in 2021. So she didn't have, like, Swiatek's 2021 was not as good as Barty's. So Barty had to defend Wimbledon that year. She had to defend the Miami trophy that she retired before that tournament started. Swiatek went on to win the French in 2022, right? So that would have added points to her total. The gap would have closed. Also, Barty, I think, was the Madrid champion of 21. No, sorry. She made the final in Madrid in 21. Sabalenka was the champion. Swiatek holds 1-1. So again, a final in Madrid that Swiatek would possibly could have done. Rome champion was Swiatek though, so Swiatek wouldn't have made any points at Rome. Stuttgart went to Barty as well, so Swiatek won Stuttgart 22, so that would have been a fun battle. And then the Wimbledon points would have maybe dropped off for Barty. Barty might have gone back-to-back at Wimbledon. Swiatek, obviously, Wimbledon wasn't a thing. But then the end of the year, you know, Canada, Cincinnati, and then also the US Open, right? Barty never really did well at the US Open, but Swiatek did. She won the whole thing. So then again, by the US Open, Swiatek could have overtaken Barty if Barty had stuck around. Possibly. It would have depended on Wimbledon, and it would have depended on probably some of those clay court matches that, or tournaments that Barty had to her name. You know, those pre-French, you know? So again, it probably would have, if Barty stuck around, it would have delayed Swiatek being number one by maybe, let's just say 6 months. She might have not got it in March that year. She would have got it, you know, in September after the US. If all things played out the way that I just mentioned. It would have been a great battle. We lost that, you know, we got robbed of that, unfortunately. But I'd have no doubt that Swiatek would have ended up getting the world number one ranking eventually. Now, does the Swiatek streak happen if Barty retires? Who's to say? Maybe not. Maybe Barty would have broken the streak. Maybe she would have been the one who, you know, everybody except for Barty lost to Swiatek, right? Who knows? But again, we'll never know. But I don't think like Barty would have, like Swiatek never would have got to number one if Barty stuck around. That's crazy. 30-15. Keys trying to stay in front. There's a little fault from Keys. Second serve. Second serve. As the return goes in the backhand of Keys. Backhand of Barty again. Barty. Damn it. Chat, you're confusing me. 30-all, Keys in the net. Yeah, they played each other, I think, twice. I think Swiatek and Barty played twice. I know they played in 2021. I think they played on the clay in Madrid. But again, Swiatek hadn't quite figured out how to win in Madrid. Yeah, it was 2-0 Barty. They also played in Adelaide in 2022. And Barty won that one in straight. So Barty got the wins. But then again, Adelaide 22 was not the Swiatek that we now, we've come to know. Barty, I mean, look, I'm not saying that Barty dodged Swiatek because that's definitely not true. But Barty, Swiatek got better. Like her best tennis was still to come, and Barty didn't have to play the best Swiatek. Which again, is why we kind of like we all wish that Barty stuck around a little longer because it would have been great to see the best Swiatek versus the best Barty. We missed that. Who knew that Swiatek would turn into a beast just as Barty was stepping away? Would have been great to see them battle for a couple, even if it was for, like I said, just the rest of 2022. It would have been great. Like if Barty retired at the end of 2022, would have been great for. Would have been great to see Barty Swiatek have a bit of a battle at their best, or at least in their best time. Barty had the game to trouble Sabalenka and Raducanu many more, and she was impressive. Oh yeah, for sure. Cam, how do you get your hair like that? I don't know, just genetics, luck. Anardi, by the way, he's up a set and a break against Foe. And we've got Andreeva taking on Gauff straight after this. Well, not after this. Straight after that match. In about 30 minutes from that match. Cam, 10:30 p.m. Yep. Do you find it surprising that Swiatek and Sabalenka haven't gotten to play each other for more than 8 months? No. Not really. Because being number 1 and 2, they can only meet in the final. So yeah, it's not a surprise. It's very hard. It's very rare that we get a 1-2 battle. Men or women, right? I mean, we got the 1-2 battle at the Australian Open final, but it wasn't Alcaraz Sinner. It was Sinner Zverev, right? So yeah, I'm not surprised. If Swiatek was number 3, we'd probably get them playing a lot more, but it wouldn't be in the final. It might be in the semis. So I'm not shocked. Let me have a look. So, how many 1-2 battles have we had recently? So yeah, Madrid last year, Rome last year, Cincinnati. Was it Cincinnati last year, but it was 1 versus 3. Sabalenka dropped down to 3 and Gauff was 2. So they played 3 times last year. And then they played in the WTA Finals semi-finals the year before. They also played 1-2 in Stuttgart last year. In 23 and Madrid in 23. So they played 3 times then. So that it's been a while since they've played, but they have played on average 3 times per year, which is, we had back-to-back tournaments where they played the final, which is very rare. They played in Rome and Madrid back-to-back, which doesn't happen. Anyways, 15-all. So I'm not surprised. And look, Sabalenka's been making the finals, so it's not like Sabalenka hasn't tried to create that match. It's just that Swiatek hasn't made a final. She's lost to Ostapenko in Stuttgart, where she went on to play Sabalenka instead. She lost to Andreeva in Indian Wells, and Andreeva played Sabalenka in the final. We almost had it in Australia, but Keys got the win against Swiatek and played Sabalenka instead. So when Sabalenka's made the final, the player that she plays is usually the player that beats Swiatek. Except for Miami, where where it was Eala, but Eala was this close to making the final anyway. Backhand rally is Swiatek is the winner, 30-15. 30-15. Yeah, just refresh the stream if things are like glitchy. It's probably just a YouTube thing. Refresh the app. All right, 40-15. Swiatek to level the final set. She serves in the backhand of Keys. Return goes back to Swiatek. Keys backhand slice. Into the backhand of Swiatek. Keys with a pass. Too good. 40-30. It's glitchy. Yeah, again, if it's glitchy, it's not... It's everything on my end's fine. So just refresh your app. That's all I can... Audio skipping. Again. Just refresh the app. I can't help you. I'm not... Call YouTube. I can't do anything about it. It's the app problem. My internet's working fine at the moment. It's not my internet today. You gotta refresh your app. Close the app, open it again. Yeah, everybody's telling me that they're skipping. Okay, again. I can't do anything about it. Change the resolution of the image, maybe. Close YouTube and open it again. Exactly. Literally turn it off and on again. As it a backhand down the line from Swiatek. Keys with a slice. Swiatek with the backhand. Keys going to get there, but just out of reach. 2-2. Isn't Australian internet infamously bad? It is, but I'm looking at my internet and it's totally fine. I got full bars. Everything's working. Everything's going fine on my end. If it was on my end, I'd tell you. Nothing is... It's all on my end. YouTube just must have done something like an update, so just update your app. All right. Close and start again. It works. There you go. I refreshed it. It's cool. If that ever happens in the future, just get out of the app and get back in. That's the best way to do it. 2-2. So back in Swiatek, the backhand of Keys. Swiatek into the forehand of Keys. Again, the back of Swiatek. Good shot down the lineup. Goes a lob by Keys. But it's out by Keys. Love 15. Love 15. It was glitching on PC as well. Yeah, just got to refresh. Refresh if it's getting glitchy. All right, nice serve from Keys, 15-0. Help me understand how many points will Swiatek go down if she loses this match and this tournament as a defendant? Good question. So Swiatek has got to... If she loses this match, she will lose 700 points. And it gives Gauff a chance to take number 2. But Gauff has to win the title to take number 2. So if she does lose this match, it doesn't mean that she won't still be number 2, but it just leaves her in a tough spot because Gauff is, if she wins the title, will overtake Swiatek. Pegula is right behind Swiatek, but Pegula's out already, so. Cam is obviously a Swiatek huge fan. Okay. 15-30. Why are you saying that like a bad thing? What do you want me to get upset? How dare you? How dare you accuse me of being a fan of a tennis player? How dare you? I can't believe you'd say that. That's so rude. Backhand goes in. To the forehand of Keys. Keys in there, 15-40. How dare you? I can't believe you'd say that. That's crazy. By the way, why'd you make an account 11 days ago? Who are you? Bro made an account 11 days ago. You all right? 11 days ago, made an account. Are you all right? Was it because you accused me of being a Swiatek fan before? How dare you? Anyway, it's 15:40. Breakpoint Swiatek. As Keys serves again. Into the backhand Swiatek. Return goes into the backhand of Keys. Swiatek forehand. Goes long. 30-40. Is one Grand Slam worth more than 3 1,000s? No. Because 3 1,000s is worth 3,000 points. All right, 30-40. As Keys serves again. And the return goes in the net, and it's deuce. Have we talked about Purcell? We have. And I don't want to talk about it anymore. Deuce. The Purcell case just starts fights. So I don't want to talk about it. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore. We've talked enough about Jannik Sinner and his... I don't want to talk about WADA ever again. I'm sick of talking about ITIA and WADA. No more. No, unless something comes up in the future, I don't want to talk about it. Slice from Swiatek. Keys puts up a lob. Swiatek with a smash. Keys gets it back. Swiatek forehand. Keys gets it back. And then Swiatek volleys it away. Advantage Swiatek. Advantage Swiatek. To get the break here in the final set. Advantage Swiatek. As we just serve again from Swiatek. The return from Keys into the forehand. Swiatek, forehand from Keys in the net. There's the break. Swiatek with a break in the final set. Jay.
Cam, what are the benefits and drawbacks of serving near the doubles alley, and why don't more players serve from that area? Does it only work on clay? Thinking face.
Thank you for the 2. Because you expose the entire court. If you serve, and I know you're talking about Alcaraz, or Medvedev, if you serve from the doubles line in singles, you're leaving the whole court open. And if you've got to hit a really good kick serve out wide and hope that they don't hit it down the line because you leave the whole court exposed. So that's why no one else does it, because it's just they're not quick enough to recover. So Medvedev and Alcaraz are quick enough. So they trust their speed to get the ball if it goes down the line. It's just not... It's a good change-up, but they don't do it all the time either. It's not like they do it every game. They do it as a change-up. But it just exposes the whole court. You're just leaving yourself up. I mean, players can hit the ball down the line on a backhand now. It's not like it's hard. That's not a hard shot for two-handed backhands. It's not a hard shot, right? So it's just not a high percentage play unless you're really quick or, I mean, yeah, if you're left-handed, that's a totally different story. But we're talking about right-handers who do it. So, yeah, it's just not high percentage. And most players would rather hit a big serve down the tee or a big serve out wide from the middle of the court so then they can take the advantage rather than just possibly losing the point because they hit a big kick out wide and it goes down the line and then they've got to scramble and then put themselves on the defense. So, yeah, it's just not like Alcaraz does it and it's like, but he does it once every other match, right? We barely see it. And Medvedev does it once every other match. I wouldn't say their success rate on that shot would be 100%. It's not like 100. It's a change up. It's just something different. It mixes it up a little bit, but not everyone can do it. Not everyone should do it because it's a dangerous risk. If you don't hit the serve well enough, someone's just going to hit a backhand winner. Like it's not a smart shot. Like, it's not a smart tactic in singles. And I don't know if they're... Like, I would love to know what the success rate on Alcaraz doing it, but I don't think it would be... It would be probably 50-50. I don't think it's a high percentage. It would be like maybe he wins half the points because he's quick. Or the return is missed, but it's not worth It's not worth doing. It's not a good. I don't think it's a smart tactic to leave the court open. It's crazy. By the way, Arnaldi just got broken serving for the match. That's not good. Tiafoe fighting back. All right, 15 love. Swiatek with a break in the final set. All right, Swiatek double faults. All right, 15 all. As the return goes in the backhand Swiatek. Forehand from Keys into the backhand Swiatek. As Keys forehand in the net, 30-15. 30-15. Are you sarcastic? Sometimes. 30-15. There's a bit of serve again. Into the net by Swiatek. Second serve. When will the draw come out for Rome? On the weekend. All right, 30-15. Swiatek serves again. Into the forehand of Keys. Forehand Swiatek open court, but Keys has got it. With a forehand into the forehand Swiatek. Keys forehand again. Is it a winner down the line? 30 all. Chance for Keys to break straight back. 30 all. We're going to serve it to the back of the Keys. Swiatek with the forehand to the backhand slice of Keys. Into the forehand Swiatek. Keys backhand again. Into the forehand Swiatek as Keys. Another backhand. Into the backhand Swiatek. Keys on the stretch. Into the forehand Swiatek. Again, the backhand of Keys with a drop shot. But it's not good enough. Swiatek comes to the net. Keys with the pass. Goes wide. 40-30. 40-30. Why is everyone against Swiatek? I don't know. I don't know why people don't like Iga Swiatek. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know why people wouldn't like Iga Swiatek. She is not a bad... she's not bad. Yeah, she's not a bad person. I don't get it. 40-30. She serves a let. $40-30. And there's a bit of serve. Into the backhand of Keys. Forehand Swiatek into the forehand of Keys. Keys in the net. 4-2 Swiatek. You know what it might be, though? It might be because Swiatek was winning so much that people just got annoyed because she was winning too much. Maybe that's what it was. You know, when someone's winning a lot, it's annoying because it's just like the same person over and over and over. And maybe people just got pissed, and then people are celebrating her losing because they want something else. They want something different. You know, like Sinner now, exactly. You know, maybe it would just got a bit. People got bored because she keeps winning. I don't know. Maybe that's got part to do with it. I loved Roger. Well, look, you all have favorites. And look, we all have our favorites. So maybe, you know, people just like other players and unfortunately express it by saying that they don't like Swiatek instead of being like, I love Madison Keys. All right, 4-2. As Keys hits it out in slot 15. All right, love 15. Swiatek wants that double break. As that goes out by Keys. Love 30. Love 30. Swiatek has worse attitude and sportsmanship. How? Like, give me 7 to 10 examples. Hello. Love 30. As Key serves a fault. Second serve. Second serve. Yes, hello. As the return goes into the back forward of Keys. Keys puts a lovely shot down the line. 15-30. 15-30. I don't think it's people not liking her. I think there is something fake about her, like Novak. Very good players, but their attitude stinks. I don't think she's fake. She doesn't seem fake to me. She seems just shy and introverted. I mean, her trying to be Sabalenka would feel forced, and that would feel fake to me. I just think she's just not, she just likes to keep to herself, and unfortunately, when you're number one in the world, you can't keep it yourself, because that's part of the gig. Being the best players on the planet, you got to do all the stuff. Doping and on cheating on court, you're a dope. I mean, you're a dope. All right, 30-all. Is it a fault second serve? As Keys serves again. The return goes into the forehand of Keys, but Keys in the net. 30-40. $30-40 to get the double break here, Swiatek. Man, Keys has just hit so many errors after the first set. I mean, she was always going to hit more errors because the first set she hit no errors. Well, 2 errors. As we're back and return now to the back end of Keys. Down the line is long. There's the double break. 5-2. Swiatek has recovered strongly. And she is serving for the match. People saying Swiatek not a good person without meeting her even one time. I know, right? Yeah. The cam curse is not real. Thank you. Finally, somebody admitted it. Doping ban and just, oh my God. And just a 1-month ban, special treatment. Yeah, okay. Well, then you should go, why don't you, instead of bashing Swiatek for that, because she didn't give herself a month ban, she was given a month ban, go talk to the people that give out the bans. Go talk to the people that said this is a month. Not Swiatek. Do you really think Swiatek was like, I'm going to give myself a month ban because I'm a good person and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose. No. Go, WADA or whoever, go complain to them. They're the ones who give the bans. If you're not happy with the ban, they're the ones you talk to. Swiatek had nothing to do with it. She accepted it. But come on now. You're gonna blame her for being banned for a month. That's crazy. You should have been banned for 6 months. Well, it wasn't up to her. And also, if you actually check out what happened, she should have been banned for 0 months because it was not even negligible what she did. It wasn't even her fault. It could have happened to anybody. What happened to her? Literally anybody. You or me. Could happen to anybody in the tennis world. You take a melatonin that's been contaminated at the factory, that's just unluck. That's just unluckiness, But again, maybe you don't believe that, and that's a whole other thing, and I'm not going to talk to you about that, because maybe we're not even talking about the same topic if you want to go down a different path. But she shouldn't have got banned at all. Anyway, Swiatek serving the match. And nobody wins. There you go. Well, we've got, hopefully, Swiatek winning this so we can watch the next one straight away. As we return now from Keys, into the back of Swiatek. Keys with the forehand, goes wide, and it's 15-love. By the way, all these things that people say about Swiatek were before she got banned for a month. So, this was happening before the 1 month ban. Like, this isn't just now and everyone's like, well, yeah, I think people now are pointing to that as a reason, but before that, they didn't like her for other reasons, whatever that is. I mean, people didn't like her because she had a Ukraine flag on her hat, because, God forbid, her country neighbors around that area, and she wants, she supports people. Like, people didn't like her for that. But I think the whole, 1 month ban probably just gave people a reason to go, yeah, that's the reason. I don't like her because of that thing. Not because of any other reason that makes no sense. That's it. Like, you probably just didn't like her before that, but now you have a reason to. Like, you can explain it better. Why do you hate Swiatek so much? Because of the melatonin contamination. Okay. 15-all. Swiatek tries to get this match. Be a good win from 6-love first set. I mean, would be a hell of a victory. As it a 4-now Swiatek down the line. Keys gets a backhand in the net. 30-15. 30-15. 2 points away. Been a very quick match too. 1 hour, 45 minutes. All right. $30-15. Serve. There's a fault. Second serve. Second serve. Into the forehand of Keys. Return is good. Swiatek slices it in the net. 30-all. $30-all. Great return there from Keys. Tennis integrity in doubts with all these doping cases. Yeah, I think people don't understand what the word doping means. 30-all. Like, it's an easy way to just call everything doping, but it's not actually what this stuff is. Like, doping is such a blanket term. Anyways, backhand goes in the net from Keys. It's 40-30. Like, I hear a lot of people just being like, Purcell doping, Sinner doping, Swiatek doping, Halep doping. Like, it's just doping is like the word. But doping is the method of cheating. Right? Doping is a method of cheating. Having a banned substance in your body from an accidental thing is not the same as doping. As at a backhand now from Swiatek. Keys hits a winner, and we get to deuce. Having too much IV drip in recovery is not doping, right? So I think the word doping just gets thrown around because it's easy to explain it if you say it's doping, rather than explaining like, oh, well, no, that's not doping because doping is this and this is actually something different. I think it's just a word that gets thrown around easily, because it's easy to explain it if you say, oh, that person got 18 months for doping. You go, well, they didn't. But it's just easy to explain that they got banned for 18 months. Why? Doping? Like, it wasn't doping. All right, we get the deuce. Especially if it doesn't enhance performance. Yeah, Max Purcell wasn't getting any performance enhancing from having more IV drip in him than he should have. Then exceeding the limit. Wasn't performance enhancing. Anyways, backhand to backhand rally as Keys goes down the line, but it's long. Advantage Swiatek. It's banned for a reason. Yeah, but it's not for doping. Doping is a totally different thing. Doping is intent on cheating. You're doing a certain thing to get an unfair advantage. And if you believe the story, and again, if you don't believe the stories, then that's fine. You can believe what you want to believe. But if you believe the stories that the lawyers and the WADA and everybody and the players have said, none of the 4 players that have been banned in the last couple of years have been banned for doping. Some have been banned for having a banned substance in their body, even if it was a small amount still, or having too much IV drip. Again, doping is not the word. Anyways, backhand goes down the line. Match point number 2. As Keys hits a wide, as Swiatek recovers. She gets bagelled for the first time on a clay court in 6 years, but she doesn't lose. And that's all that matters, because even if she hadn't come back and won this, we would have remembered that bagel a lot more. But now the bagel's kind of irrelevant because Swiatek recovered. And unfortunately for Keys, her level dropped. I think we can all be, she was playing, like her first set was so clean that if Swiatek just tightened it up a little bit, Keys was going to hit a lot more errors as the match went on, and she did. And good work for Swiatek. Good recovery, because after that first set, she could have imploded. She could have easily imploded. A lot of other players would have imploded. A lot of other players would have thought, oh no, this is not my day, and maybe Keys would have run away with a second. But Swiatek, she recovered well, and she is into the semi-finals. And now we're going to find out who she's going to play, because Gauff versus Andreeva is literally about to start. So this is talk about timing. Talk about timing. Andreeva versus Gauff is about to commence. So I'll send you over there. Then we can talk about all things going forward. But good win by Swiatek. Good fight back. And look, take nothing away from Keys. Last year, she lost to Swiatek twice on clay without even getting more than 4 games. So much better performance by Keys against Swiatek on clay. So there's promise there for Keys. But again, Swiatek on clay, you would expect that she would win this matchup. And she did. But let's see who she's going to play, because Gauff takes on Andreeva. Absolute banger match next.